the 4th of July. And
nice time to be there.
Yeah, it was an incredible time to be there. And I had no idea that it was that incredible. And Stevie Wonder did a concert on the Capitol.
On the mall?
Yeah. And man, I camped out there. I mean, not literally all night or anything, but we all sat down out in the yard and but you would never just watching Stevie Wonder. And I know this has nothing to do with real estate, guys, but just bear with me. Stevie Wonder, you've seen him maybe on TV, you've heard him on the radio, but let me tell you what, that dude will blow your mind live. He is incredible. The sound coming out of them speakers was like the most amazing thing I'd ever heard, Terrence.
I was able to see him when he was a teenager in the 60s. And of course, I was a young kid in a small park in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's some of these artists, you see them on TV and you know that they're very well produced, but you really can tell the difference between a musician that can play when you see them live.
Yeah. That was a great time to go. It'll be great to have you here stateside. Coming on.
Yeah, check it out, DC. We're checking out some of those, perhaps some of those zip codes that we've been talking about.
Yeah,
to see where we could start, and then heading up to Boston for some business as well.
Well, that sounds great, man. I'll be glad to know you're here.
Yeah.
If there's anything,
I'll shoot you a message, and I'm not sure about next Saturday, but I'll let you know.
Okay. Yeah. Holler at me. Just let me know. Hey, I've seen some other guys hop on here. Usman out of the UK, and we got Claude here. What's going on, Claude? What's happening with your background, man? That looks pretty awesome.
Thanks, man. What's happening, everybody?
Hey.
Yeah, that's a Bitmoji. You guys know what Bitmoji is?
No, you'll have to educate us.
Bitmoji is a free app that you get on. I know it's an Android, but I don't know if it's an the Apple Store or whatever that's called. But I'm an Android guy. But anyway, it's called Bitmoji, Bitmoji.
Yeah.
And you can do all kinds of custom emojis. You build your emoji. So like, if I get out of the way, like that's me. Right?
Oh yeah, okay.
That's a prettier version of me, right?
That's cool. That's the cartoon you, man.
Yeah, that's the cartoon me. So Bitmoji has like dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of characters that you can create based on emoji feelings, right? Like happy, sad. So like if you're having a conversation with me online,
yeah, like
we're doing like Messenger or something like that. Often I'll respond with a Bitmoji. So that's all that is, just a Bitmoji that I threw up on the green screen.
I see. Well, it looks pretty sharp, man. That's cool. You know what it reminds me of?
What's that?
Somebody that's cool, okay, but it reminds me of the Flip Man. You ever
yeah.
You ever watch the Flip Man?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it also reminds me of Terrence. Terrence has a really cool emoji of himself. As a matter of fact, the other day, last week when we were doing the breakout session, I was like, Terrence, are we friends on Facebook? He was like, yeah, we're friends. I was like, wow, I don't know. And I didn't put two and two together. And then when I saw his profile again, I was like, oh, I didn't recognize his face because he has this cool emoji as his profile pic. And so it's a pretty cool one too.
I had some people design it on Fiverr.
Nice.
Did you have to send him a picture?
Yeah, I did.
One time I had somebody on Fiverr do a drawing out of a picture of me, but I've never had to make the emoji. That's cool. That's cool though. Yeah, both of you guys have some pretty cool artwork going on.
Bitmoji is free, and you don't need anybody to do it for you. Just build it yourself. If you see the guy, like the one that I have, his whole body, he's a lot slimmer. He's a lot slimmer than I am, right? My ideal emoji.
It's fun being a real estate wholesaler because at the end of the day, you're a marketer and you've got to learn and stay kind of up to date on what's going on in the world with marketing and tools and all kinds of stuff. But it's kind of a double-edged sword, because it's really an awesome time to live in 2019 because of all these things that exist like this. But then it's kind of a bad thing, because you can kind of get lost in the sauce doing all that. And I only say that because I have, man. I mean, I have tinkered and tinkered and tinkered and tinkered. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm like, oh wow, look at this new thing. And I even coined a phrase for myself. And I try to not have this problem anymore, but I used to call it, I have shiny object syndrome. Yeah. So I'm always chasing the next shiny object, you know. And I'm not suggesting that.
That's how it is with wholesaling too, Justin. Like, seriously, you know, we've talked, right? So I asked you about PropStream, I asked you about automated REI, and now I just came across this, you know, and I had Flipster, right? I canceled Flipster, and the new one that I just came across is called FlipComp. Has anybody else heard of FlipComp?
No, I haven't.
Well, it's another shiny object, right? And basically, it helps you get deals that are MLS deals. To make a long story short, but yes, shiny object syndrome, bro. I have it bad.
What's it called? What's it called again?
FlipComp.
Okay, I'll be right back. I gotta go check it out, guys. All right.
It looks powerful. It looks like a powerful tool, but point being, man, I'm right there with you, man. Like, and that shiny object syndrome,
yeah,
it leads to paralysis of analysis, right? Or analysis paralysis, right?
It does. It does.
Right? And you don't know where to begin, or you know, if you're wasting money on one tool because another tool might be better, and blah 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 blah, and the list, and it's like a rabbit hole.
Yeah.
And that's one of the scariest things for me, is like, you know, being new to this and not knowing what I don't know, you know?
Yeah. I think too, you know, it's partly because when we all start with limited funds, you know, and we're all thinking, what's the best way? What's the best tool? Is there a cheaper way? You know, what can I do this cheaper, or do I need this? Do I not need this? Or what if I had this, would it be better? Oh, it's $25 a month more, but I don't know if I need it. You know, you get into all this it's circular, but you know, I think honestly, that's valid to have those thoughts and fears and feelings. But once you establish a certain tools, and I try to help people in this way and tell them, hey, listen, really, you only need this and this. But if once you establish a few tools, really, you don't need anything else until you start making some money. So, you know, you need to move from kind of like as a real estate wholesaler, you know, we all have to move from an expense policeman in our business to somehow shifting over at some point and be revenue minded, you know, like, hey, well, you know, if I made $1,000 this month doing this, you know, would I care that I spent $25 extra on, you know what I mean? You probably wouldn't really, but so, you know, that's how I feel about it. And I try to analyze myself like this too. You know, do I need this? Do I not need this? I'll do that for a little while, but then I also say, well, am I just like trying to be expense police here, or what am I doing? You know, what's the real nut here? Or who's the real nut? It might be me. I don't know if that made much sense or not, guys, but it does to me.
You got to reinvest. You got to invest in your business, right? But you know, in the beginning, like it is for me, you know, to be totally candid and full disclosure, until I, you know, make my first deal, there is nothing to invest, right? So, you know, and I was really grateful. We had a talk the other day. You explained to me, man, you don't need none of that. Like, and it's crazy because, you know, my whole approach was, you know, try to go hard. And I mean, I have, you know, money to put into, you know, tools like PropStream and automated REI, but, you know, I could spend a couple $100 a month, right? Yeah. But I don't really got it like that, right?
Yeah.
And you told me that it was like a relief. It was like a weight off my shoulders, and I was so grateful that you gave me another perspective. And I was watching Max Maxwell on YouTube last night, and he was doing a meetup, and somebody asked him the same question, and they happened to mention PropStream, and I think one other tool, and he was like, "Look, you don't really need none of that." You know, he was like, "Do D for D." You know what I mean? He was like, I mean, basically, we get this idea in our mind that we can't, we're not going to be able to get off of E or get off the ground if we don't have, the latest and greatest tool. And so we, again, analysis paralysis, shiny object syndrome, we never get started because we fear that, we can't possibly do it right without them. So I'm looking forward to learning from you about, how to really approach this, like from a nitty gritty gully level, you know what I mean? Like down and dirty, you know what I mean?
That's me. Yeah, that's my strategy, man, and that's how I learned it. That's how I do it today. Like I don't waste money, man. I am the tightest guy you'll ever meet. I don't live a lavish lifestyle. I'm a money hoarder. I will hoard that money. Okay, now to a certain degree. They call it cash flow because it has to, it kind of has to continue passing on through you a little bit of cash flow, but I like to hang on to as much of it as I can. So yeah, I don't mind giving out tips like that. And really, I think it really cuts it down for a lot of people too. I'm glad you said that because, a lot of people are still scratching their head after they've been in this for 2 or 3 years. Like, do I have the right email blaster? Do I have this? Do I have that? Hey guys, you can do this virtually as a solo team, really anywhere in the world, as long as you've got good internet connection and cellular capabilities. You can do this. Maybe not even cellular, just because you can. I use Google Hangouts for my business line to this day, and I have for years and years. So I don't see nothing wrong with that. That's all internet. So anywhere you're at with the internet, you can do this stuff, and you can do it cheap. Cheap. Like you can run your business on less than $100 a month, really, if you had to. 200, that's reasonable. If you had $300-400, man, you could really, really do some damage. You know, that's the world we live in, guys. It really is. I think that's good news. What's the most expensive tool out there that you guys have played around with, and what's your opinions of it? I'm glad we talk about tools here on this show because there's a lot of questions about tools, and I've been wanting to do some more shows on tools and talk about tools and expose tools a little bit, so everybody gets a little bit of a firsthand experience with it before they have to go out and buy it. Of course, I know there's some reviews and stuff on YouTube, but you know, they're not always geared to what we're doing with it. But what's the most expensive tool you guys have used out there? Anybody got anything that they found to be all encompassing, meaning marketing, list, emails? What's the biggest, bestest thing going on out there right now? I told you I use the cheap things, man. I do the cheap stuff. What's the expensive?
I don't know. I've looked at quite a few of them, from Freedom Soft to Investor Fuse 1 and 2 to all of these things. I think Freedom Soft is $197 a month, down from $397. They've reduced it, so it's $197. That's pretty. I think that's probably the most expensive one I've looked at. I'm sure I could find more expensive ones, but Freedom Soft is actually something I heavily considered. Freedom Soft and Investor Fuse until I went my own custom way, which I'm working on. We can talk about that another time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, they try to be all encompassing, and that can be a cost savings on one hand, but on the other hand, if there's a bill that you can't pay, And if it's all encompassing and you can't pay that bill, you're out of business. So
Yeah.
it might be beneficial to have, not everything in the same basket.
I totally concur. Yeah, definitely. And I think I thought that way a little bit when I was first getting started. And I wanted to have things that were cheap, and I pieced them together. That way, if I couldn't pay one, I didn't lose the entire shooting match.
There you go. There you go. Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. And I have had Freedom Soft. And again, it's more like I was just saying, a couple $100 a month. And that's everything, right? Pretty much. It's pretty close to all encompassing. So, in other words, again, for less than $200 a month, you can have pretty much everything in the world that you want to run this business. I mean, so this business is a cheap business to get in. That trips me out a little bit when people are, I don't know of any other business that you can get into with as little money as this one. This one, and really, and have potentially, amazing profits come out of it. Return of investment on what, $10 earnest money, a couple $100 on tools, another $100 on marketing. You've got a full system going, and you spent $350, let's say, and you made what, 5, 10
The
thousand?
problem with that is that there's a pro and con to that. Now, the pro to that, of course, is that it's very little money to get in. The con to it is that because it takes so little money to get in, people treat it as a side hustle as opposed to a business. If they had actually had to come up and invest a couple of $1,000s up front, they would treat that more like a business. Because you can get in so cheap, people don't take it as seriously, and that has an impact on their success and also has an impact on their ability to scale.
Yeah, that's a great point, Terrence. That's a great point. And I really believe that too. That's a great point. I know that I often, as a coach, I think, man, I wish that it costs more money. And I'm not saying that just because I want to make more money. I'm saying that because of what your point just was, is that when people are considering a business opportunity, they often consider this one because it is the most inexpensive one to choose. But at the same time, there is something to be said about the guy that just, I don't know, busts his ass to make whatever opportunity he wanted to happen, no matter what it costs. I think that's really the eye of the tiger we were talking about last week a little bit. And I think when you have the bar so low, it's easy for folks to, cast away the good, and I don't know.
Yeah.
Probably enough said about that. I don't want anybody to start sweating on the call or, break into tears, weeping. Yeah, I'm not talking directly about anyone. I'm just saying there are people who care more about the business and would be willing to invest more. So, than some others. I know that I got into it because it was cheap, inexpensive. I knew that I needed to order a study course off of eBay for $100. I got a Ron LeGrand course. What's funny is I studied Ron LeGrand. I don't know if you guys know Ron LeGrand at all.
I do.
Oh, well, wait. Yeah. Ron LeGrand, his course is $1. He's giving it away for $1, everything.
Yeah, I saw that ad. Now, here's a funny story, guys. And I hope you guys don't mind just me kind of chatting you up today. But, I saw the ad. Now, I remember it was like a Facebook ad on my feed when I'm going through Facebook. Well, anyway, it struck me because about, I don't know, 2000-ish, 2001, I don't know, somewhere around in there, I bought a course from him or of him off of eBay. And it was like Ugly House Wholesaling, the full volume, and it was CDs. It might have even been cassette tapes. And then I got wholesaling. I got lease options. It wasn't wholesaling lease options, but it was lease options. And then I got something else. I don't think it was getting private money or something. So, and I paid $100 for each course. So that was $300 right there out of my pocket. And this was like 18, 19 years ago. So, I put a little bit of money into it and I got those courses and I started going through it. So the basic foundation of all of my knowledge comes from Ron LeGrand, to be honest. If I had to credit one man with who did the most in teaching me the techniques of real estate wholesaling, I would have to say Ron LeGrand. But when I saw the ad on Facebook that he was trying to give away for $1 his set of CDs, man, I went and I looked at the comments, and the comments on that were absolutely dreadful. They were dreadful. It was more like people complaining of who has a CD player anymore. Is this guy a joke and blah, 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 blah. And I commented and I said, this man has been in this business longer than most of us have been alive. And he has made more millionaires in this business than probably any other. That's what I said. And then I said, I know because I'm one of them. Now, you would think that response would maybe get a little bit of people to back down a little bit off of
it inflamed them. It inflamed them even more.
Holy cow, it did, brother. And then they started going after me.
You poured gas on a fire.
And I thought, are these the people that want to be interested in doing real estate wholesaling? These are the ones that are responding to the post about learning how to real estate wholesale. And I thought, oh my goodness, this industry. Whoa. We need to do something in this industry to change it to keep those people out. How do we keep those people out? Now, I don't really know who those people are, and I don't remember their names or none of that, but we need to do something, y'all. They are super negative. So, but that's another thing I love about our group is it's just amazingly positive. Have you guys noticed that? I love it for that. No one ever talks trash on anyone in our group. Not allowed. In fact, I love that when someone posts that they did something, no matter how minute that achievement was, they made a call, they talked to a seller, they did a scrape on automated REI. There's something, whatever, no matter how small it may be or how large it may be, they closed a deal, got paid. Everybody gets responses and comments from people in the group saying, congratulations. Hey, that's awesome. When are you going to send me my piece of the check? And, all that. Gosh. And let me say, guys, thank you. Thank you for that. I feel super honored to be a part of a group like this. And in all reality, when I started it, I never really thought it would be this good. I just couldn't conceive of it being this good. So I have all that credit belongs to you guys because you make it what it is. So thank you. And thank you to the others that watch. There's not everyone is not on the Zoom call that participates with us here. Really, there's a lot of people that watch and we never see their smiling faces, and that's okay too. But if you want to join us, you're more than welcome to. If you're watching us on any platform, it doesn't matter. If you go to realestatewholesalersclub.com, you can find the links to the Facebook group. It's free. It's great. It's awesome. The YouTube channel. But on the Facebook group, you'll find us where we have the link to join us in the password. The password is, you guys remember that show? It was like a game show. That's way too old.
Not for me.
You remember what the password is?
Yes, yeah.
It refers to
password.
All right, guys. I'm checking the clock here. We've been on for about 30 minutes, and I did want to talk a little bit about motivated sellers and finding motivated sellers, picking markets, and then let's do some breakout rooms again. if you guys are up for that. Last week, the breakout room, it went for like an hour and a half after the show ended. And the show was over an hour long. So I was like, wow, you guys love each other. You know what I mean? You guys love each other. I like that. So, yeah, anyway, the breakout room seemed to be fun for people and a place to learn. So let's do that. But I did want to talk a little bit about picking a marketplace and creating motivated sellers. The question was, how do I know what marketplace to pick? Because I don't know which marketplace has the best motivated sellers and the most. How do I know? You know, that's a good question. And there are some researches that you can do. Okay. You can do some zip code research and you can get some data points and you can kind of create some theories and hypotheses out of that about particular market areas that you're not geographically familiar with. And you can do that. Okay. And I do a bit of that here myself with me and my team, but I also do it a little bit with the one-on-one students, but really it's not complicated. It doesn't even require all of that because there are motivated sellers everywhere. Okay. Let me sum it up like this. Cash buyers for ugly house deals, you need to ask them what market areas to go into. That's how you find out what market area to go into if you're going to do ugly house wholesaling. You go to your customer and you ask, where would you spend money? Where would you buy right now today? That's that easy. It's that easy. And it doesn't matter. Okay. And I know I get excited and I'm getting excited right now because I think I see Terrence writing some stuff down and I'm thinking in my head, I want to have a great conversation with Terrence about this particular topic at some point, because I believe that if you pinpoint your customers, they'll give you every bit of ammunition you need to go win this game. So I would love to have a conversation with anybody about cash buyers. I'm the cash buyer guy. Okay. I love cash buyers. And I'm more about cash buyers than I am about motivated sellers. But in the ugly house wholesale game, yeah, you find you the customer, and the customer will tell you where they'll spend money. And then you spend your marketing dollars trying to fulfill those needs. Now, that doesn't mean you're an employee of that buyer. It just means you've taken good market research, right? You've done good buyer research, customer research. So you know what they're willing to pay for and how much they're willing to pay and all of that good stuff. Why would you want anyway in this business? And I find this interesting. Why will people go into this business and avoid creating a buyer's list? I tell everyone that's the very first thing to do. Get a buyer's list, because those buyers will tell you where to go, how much they're going to spend. You know, they'll break it down for you. You'll never be without a job once you learn this. You know, if you broke me down to zero right now today, and I had to pick up the phone and start over from scratch, it would be a situation where Mr. Justin's never going to be without a job ever again in his life. And I don't mean a job like I'm clocking in. What I mean is I could pick up the phone and I could call any great cash buyer in town, and they're findable. And they would tell me what they are looking for and what they would buy today if it were available. Now I have a job. I go find that. That's my job. Okay. It's that simple, right? That's the ugly house side. The pretty house side, though, the motivated sellers are everywhere. On the ugly house side, the buyers are going to tell you where they are, where they want to buy. That's where you go. On the pretty house side, on the tenant buyer side, where you're looking for wholesale and lease options, tenant buyers, yeah, they're everywhere, guys. You know, motivated sellers and tenant buyers on that side, those motivated sellers and tenant buyers are everywhere. Take a map, get 5 darts, throw all 5 while blindfolded. You will find 5 markets where there are motivated sellers and tenant buyers. That's about that easy. So it's hard for people, even when I explain it like this, to say, okay, I get it, Justin, but what market? This is what they end up saying. Okay, Justin, I get it. Tenant buyers and motivated sellers are everywhere. So what, excuse me, what about price range? I mean, what about the cost of the houses in these markets? And, then they get mixed up in the data points. Don't get mixed up in the data points. There's motivated sellers and there's tenant buyers in every market, everywhere. They're everywhere. Okay, so data points, no data points, it doesn't matter. The tenant buyers and the motivated sellers to work with tenant buyers are everywhere in every single market in America, United States, at least. So don't worry about it. Pick the entire state. If you're like, hey, I don't know if Omaha is good or if I should go into Des Moines. Well, those are in two different states. Then the answer is do both. Why not? You're looking for the low-hanging fruit. Low-hanging fruit. So yeah, just go anywhere. What I'm trying to say is get over the fear and just go. Run a scrape on automated REI and just go. Just do it. I see some guys here that are interested in doing ugly house wholesaling. And I see some guys that are interested in doing, well, when I say ugly house, I might mean ugly house, or I might mean joint venture, mobile wholesaling, co-wholesaling. But then I do see some wholesale lease options folks on here too. Alepha's here. Alepha, how you doing? You're a wholesale and lease options person? We had this conversation a little bit this week. You and I, we were talking about markets and getting into a new one and all that. And so, yeah, basically, I advise you to go anywhere. Was that probably not very helpful? Have you decided where you wanted to go?
I just did. Can you hear me?
Hold on. I had to unmute Alepha's microphone. Go ahead, Alepha. I didn't hear you.
Oh, I picked a few. I'm still staying out here where I'm at, and Kansas City, I'm marketing in, Tennessee, and was it Arkansas or Indianapolis or Indiana? But I also wanted to ask the guys here too, do you guys anybody have a cash buyers list ready to go that wants to joint venture and wouldn't mind, someone also marketing there in their area too, to work up and team together? I have the other places marked in my book that I don't have in front of me right now. But yeah, I picked like 2 or 3 different ones, and those blasts are going out this morning after I'm done here.
Okay, that's awesome. Yeah, so are you asking about Memphis? Is that what you were asking about?
No, I actually did a scrape in Tennessee too.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, Tennessee and a couple other places that we had talked about. You just threw them out there, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna put them out there and do the blast. So I did a whole bunch of scrapes. I think I did like 7 scrapes, and I'm sending all those blasts out today when we're done here.
Okay, that's great. It seems like you're making some good progress with that one, at least with what was it, a package of 4?
Oh yeah, it was a package of 4, and then it turned into a package of 2, because I guess he changed his mind about selling those ones, but there's still 2 that were left that he wanted to sell. So we're gonna go. He accepted the offer, and we're gonna move forward on Monday with that one. So we'll see. Fingers crossed on that one, because of the type of deal that it is.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
I'm excited about it. I can't wait to see how it plays out.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds cool. It's an interesting thing how like what it kind of links to what we were just talking about a little bit with marketing anywhere, and just going out there because there's motivated sellers everywhere um, with the wholesaling lease options. So you can throw that net wide, and then she drug the net in, and she happened to drag in some ugly house deals with it. So there you go. It's just that's how it works. So
Yes, I got Kansas City, Arkansas, Tennessee, and Columbus, and San Diego.
yeah,
So I
that's cool.
see right there. So
Yeah,
I just wanted to see if Montana, Arkansas, and Indianapolis, Indiana.
yeah, yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
I wanted to know if any of you guys wanted to work together, who has a cash buyers list going, just in case, we run into any more of these, because I'm wholesaling these options, but like it's easy to run into like, things like this that turn into a different kind of deal, like a cash deal or an ugly house deal. So if anybody's interested, PM me and let me know so we can exchange information.
Yeah. Yeah. I think Usman will be interested in it over there in the Memphis area, especially with that one package you're talking about. He probably will be.
Yeah, we've been talking. We've been talking on PM. So yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, we have.
nice. Nice.
Thank you. Yeah.
I've got a question coming in from Lenny, and I don't really understand, Lenny. It says that you do wholesaling lease options, always have used scrapes, so answering ads. Okay, I have a list I want to voice blast or text blast to, so it would be like cold calls. What would be a good first opening message since I'm not directly answering the ad like one on one? Okay. Yeah, I think I understand the question, and the first message will be in your own words, Lenny, but it will be something to the effect of this. Hi, my name is Lenny. I'm a real estate investor. Is
Where's the chat?
this property something you could consider leasing for 24 to 36 months, then selling at your asking price? Yes, no, or maybe. That's all we do. It's low hanging fruit, Lenny. You're looking for the people that are going to say yes to this or maybe to this. You're not looking to twist people's arm or sell them. So you're just going to straight up ask the question, and you're just going to expect a straight up answer in return. All right. I hope that helps. Usman, you were going to share something with us. Why don't you take the floor and share with us? I cut you off there a minute ago. Sorry about that.
No, it's fine. What did you say? I was gonna say something earlier.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you were going to say something earlier, and I cut you off. Yeah, sorry about
Yeah,
that.
I was saying when you were looking at most expensive marketing tools and strategies, I think the most expensive one is Google Ads.
Yeah.
That's probably
Yeah.
per click in some markets could be like $100, $50, $80.
Yeah.
It's
I
unbelievable.
took the long road approach with Google, guys. For my business, what I did was I thought Google AdWords, that was so expensive, so expensive. However, today you can do ads on YouTube pretty cheap. Okay, just a thought, You can do ads on YouTube, which is actually Google Ads is now YouTube ads too. So you can do it really cheap. But back in the day when I was getting started, well, not when I got started, but started with Google Ads, I was like, man, this stuff's so expensive. It's just crazy costing money. And I'm the tight guy. I'm the cheap guy. So I'm going to try to find a cheaper way. So I knew it was the long road, but I went to Fiverr and I hired me a couple, 2 or 3 different people to do a number of different tasks to do SEO. You know what I mean? So when people just put their keywords in, they search for something like We Buy Houses or wholesale houses, Kansas City or whatever it is, I'll pop up and I want to be right there on the front page. So I organically come up instead of having to pay. It's worth it, guys. I'm just telling you, it's worth it. It's the long game, but it's worth
Justin, how many leads do you get from your website a month from the organic listing?
It varies. It goes up and down, man. Some months I'll honestly only get 2 or 3, and some months I won't even get any. It's not about people finding me on the internet alone. Okay, it's just one tool. So if I wish it were that easy, guys, I wish I could just do the SEO work, and I wish I could just pop up on Google and people would find me and go in there and give me their houses. Unfortunately, it doesn't quite work that way. I've got the SEO. People do find me. People do go on there, but it's not a regular. It's not a regular thing because my marketing is not driving them to that website. Okay, my marketing is driving them to ring my phone back. Okay, that's what I'm doing.
And plus, also, I think it depends what keywords. If you're going for keywords like "sell my house for cash," it takes a very long time. It takes a lot of money and effort to get to number 1 on Google.
It takes a lot of time, but not necessarily a lot of money. Yeah, like
it depends.
Yeah, you can get guys on Fiverr.com to do backlinks and PR things. And in other words, I paid a guy like $115 last year, for example, to just go out there and create like 150 different connections on the internet, and all of them, like from reviews to bios to opening up new accounts on new sites and new profiles. And like I bought 150 of these. You wouldn't believe what that did for me. I mean, just that alone, because when the search bot or whatever goes through and searches, it pings me, and then it pings, oh, he's pinging everywhere around. He's pinging 150 different places. Let's put him higher in the list. It makes me look more important. It's crazy. I did that for like $150 or something. I mean, I think it was even less than that, really. So, I mean, it's not even a lot of money. It's just a lot of time. So it takes a while to see the benefit of it.
Yes, of course, you're right.
Definitely worth it.
Yes, you're right.
We've hopped around all different kinds of topics here today, and that's kind of an interesting topic. I would not have guessed that we got off on that, Google Ads or SEO. Has anybody had any experiences with that? And here's another topic that ties in real closely with it, and that's Facebook ads. And I have used Facebook ads. I have some experience with it. I feel like I'm proficient with it. But at the same time, there's a big thing, like I don't know who it is putting it out there. I don't even remember the name, but they're putting it out there that this is the way. Walk ye in it.
It's Chris Chico.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm not saying it's bad. I don't mean to come off negative sounding about Chris Chico. I'm just not familiar.
Chris Chico and Nate Armstrong.
Yeah, I'm sure it's really good stuff. I just haven't done it yet. I haven't checked into it, but I probably should. I feel like I'm proficient with Facebook, and I feel like I use Facebook to market my business on a regular basis. But at the same time, who could be a pro at all of this? Like you got to be a pro at Facebook ads. Oh, there's pros out there. I'm not one of them, but I'm proficient with it,
Yeah, I mean, there are hundreds of different ways to market for motivated sellers. And when it comes down to it, it really doesn't matter which one you choose, because they all work under certain circumstances, so long as you're consistent with it and become proficient at it. So what you need to do is try a couple of different techniques, ones that fit your pocketbook, ones that fit your personality, okay, and one that fits your particular context. And out of those 3 or 4 that you try, find the one maybe 2 that fit you, and just be consistent.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. You nailed it. I tell people, hey, don't do anything you can't keep going for 6 months. You know, like for real. If you don't have a plan to keep it going for 6 months, then you're gonna see a little bit maybe, and it's gonna wither and die. You know, you don't want that. You want to have okay, unless you want to be the one and done guy, and that's okay too. If you want to be the one and done, like, hey, I did a deal and cool, it works. Okay. But if you want a business, you know, a machine, then you have to have a marketing plan and resources to fund said plan. So consider wisely. That's all I can say.
Hey Justin, I was watching a YT vid with Stephen Trang. You know Stephen Trang. Everybody's got to know Stephen Trang, right?
Real estate disruptors.
Real estate disruptors.
Yeah, it's an incredible show.
He's absolutely incredible
show.
Yeah, and he had these twin brothers that their market is down in Miami, and they've been doing wholesaling, I think, since 2017, and they are becoming successful with pay-per-click. But they said exactly what you said just now, is that they dump money into pay-per-click for 6 months before they begin to see any ROI, right? And they're spending about, if I recall correctly, currently about $7,000 a month on pay-per-click, right? And I think they ramped up from like $2,500 a month up to $7,000. And for the first 6 months, there was no ROI, right? No return on that investment. So I would just say anybody like who's starting out, like, ditch pay-per-click, right? If you not right now, unless you have deep pockets and you're willing to do what you said, Justin, which is have 6 months of money to spend before you realize any return on that investment, right? Pay-per-click is like something you get into when you have consistent, in my opinion, you gotta have consistent 2 or 3 deals at least a month, you know, have an income stream of at least, you know, 20,000 a month, 30,000 a month consistently before, you know, and that's, you know, knowing, you know, your market, knowing, you know, how to operate in that market with a very limited budget, right? And then you get into stuff like pay-per-click. A lower barrier to entry, like what you said, Facebook ads, YouTube ads, right? They're easy to learn, right? Tons of information. Like pay-per-click and SEO, which are long games, take a lot of know-how, a lot of time, right? And for pay-per-click, it's a lot of money, right? Cost per click, you know, and then you know, when you start to realize that you can accomplish much of what you want to accomplish just with hard work and sweat equity, right? To get your cash flow to where it's easier for you to be able to afford those types of tactics and to hire. Look, I don't recommend personally that anybody go and try to become a CPC expert for their own business, right? So not only are you going to have to consider what it costs to run your cost per click campaign or your pay-per-click campaign, you're going to have to consider what it costs to hire somebody to do it. Unless you want to spend hours and hours and hours and hours learning. And then if you do that, you have to stretch it out from 6 months to 10 months, right? But before you see any ROI. So I just don't recommend for beginners, you know, anybody who's not cash flowing, like, you know, big time. I'm not cash flowing, but realizing, you know, decent checks, 20, 30,000 a month, cost per click is out. Facebook ads, I mean, you know, YouTube ads, yeah, but pay-per-click, no bueno, Poppy.
Yeah, it's pretty expensive. It should be a goal of yours to have, or anyone, all of us, to have $2,000 a month in Facebook marketing. It really should be. When you've developed your business to the place where it can easily support the marketing of Facebook ads, $2,000 a month. Can you imagine the revenue that it would generate?
Yeah, Justin, can I say something? Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, with pay-per-click, I know it's expensive, but the leads tend to be a lot warmer than Facebook. If 0 is very cold and 10 is really warm, Google is like probably 9, 8 or 9 because they're searching for you. Where Facebook is probably like 5 or 6 because that is passive. They're just, they're not searching for you. You're just in their feed.
Yeah.
You understand? But yeah, you're right. Facebook ads are cheaper. They're a lot cheaper than pay-per-click.
Yeah.
But I think it all boils down to like what Claude just said. He's right what he's saying. But I think it all boils down to whether you can close, whether you can sell or not. If you can close, then it's worth pay-per-click's worth it if you're getting the leads and you can close.
Yeah, that's a good point too. Yeah, and that kind of leads back to what Terrence was saying. It's what fits you in your business, in your model, and your ideas. What fits you? What works for you and your budget and your lifestyle? So yeah, I all great points there, guys. You guys want to break into some breakout rooms? Do you want to break into some breakout rooms?
Justin, can I ask one question just before we leave? With regards to lease options, into the market, like what's a good price range like to target for houses, like for lease options?
For wholesaling lease options?
Yeah.
I call the bread and butter, man. The bread and butter. You're the most ideal, perfect wholesale lease option is somewhere probably around $200,000 in repair in value or less in most markets in the United States. Okay, not the big metropolitans where it's so expensive, but in most general places, $200,000 or less, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, 2-car garage.
Yeah, and you should be able to demand between 5 and 10,000 as down payment for that.
Oh yeah, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Because I'm planning to do a scrape probably tomorrow, so I wanted to know what range. So just 0 to 200,000.
Yeah, that's correct. I would not even put that filter on it, though. I would not even put that filter on the automated REI. And that's one thing I wanted to say, too. I'm glad you brought it up is, we've talked about some expensive ways to do it, but and there are a lot of places to grow to. And I think it's important that we talk about expensive ways so we kind of see up the road a little bit. However, when you're just getting started, there are some really, really, really super affordable ways to do the marketing now here in this digital age in which we live. And one of those is automated REI, which we know the guy that owns it, but we don't own it. Actually, I kind of wish I did. I wish I could buy it from Michael. I think that would be awesome. It says here in the comments from Janet that she found a house in a high market area. It's been a little over maybe a month. It's been for sale, and she thinks she also might have messed up on the automated REI because she didn't get the results she was expecting. Okay, that might be, and it's a little technological thing. Okay, just a little technological thing. That's all. Ain't nothing but a thing, Janet. Ain't nothing but a thing. Ain't nothing but a thing or a chicken wing. Don't sweat it. We all have problems with figuring this stuff out. Okay. We all have problems figuring it out. There are people on this call right now who have had problems figuring out automated REI and getting it to do exactly what they want. Okay. It's not a complicated machine. It's not unuser friendly or user unfriendly, but it is new and different. Okay. So you have to get used to it. It does take a little bit of getting used to. So what I recommend, and if Janet is still here with us here on the call live, and she is, yep, I'm getting a thumb from her. I don't know if you wanted to say anything. Like it looked like a little hand puppet there, Janet. It's funny, like a little hand puppet. Hi, my name is Janet. There it is. There it is. All right. You'll have to unmute the microphone, Janet, in order to do it. I'll unmute you.
Okay.
I hear you now.
Okay, great. Um, I saw a house the other day that I've noticed that was for sale by owner, and it looks like it's on a corner part, but it's if anybody is in Kansas City that knows Ward Parkway,
Oh yeah.
the houses are pretty expensive over there. And I had a hard time calling him for seemed like almost 2 weeks, but I finally got a chance to talk to him, and he wants to sell the property as soon as he can, as is. And I asked him a lot of information about it, and it's a nice, very nice house. That, and I think I'm gonna try to see if I can get it, see if I could talk to him about the lease options. Woo.
Yeah.
Hopefully it'll work,
Yeah.
but it's really nice.
That was awesome. Hey, email me, Janet. Email me everything you know about that property and that guy, and let me think on it with you. Okay.
Okay.
I would love to do that.
And
And
he seems like he's a very motivated. By me seeing the house before, I just skipped it. But now I've noticed it's been there for a little while. So the only way that I think that it's going to sell is if it may interest him with lease option, because if nobody else then all of a sudden bought it that soon, I don't know if there's anything wrong with the property, but he's saying it's as is. So that means that the option that I'm thinking has got to be lease option.
yeah, there's probably something wrong with it. Yeah, we'll just have to figure it out. We'll have to ask and maybe even check it out. Go see it.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, email me all that stuff, and we'll definitely work on that. Also, I was going to ask, do we have any volunteers here in the group that'd be willing to work with Janet a little bit on automated REI? In other words, like she's just having a hard time getting her scrape put together and the first time. And I was just wondering if anybody Alepha, she's waving at you. Hey, Alepha, you're so sweet. Thank you for doing that. Very kind of you. But yeah, you guys can get connected. And yeah, Alepha's been doing this a little while now. So she's kind of an old pro with the automated REI. And yeah, so she's running and gunning all over the country. Yeah. So anyway, thank you for that. I'm going to put you guys in some breakout rooms unless somebody else has anything they want to say. We'll go into the breakout rooms, and I see a couple new faces here that I haven't seen before, and I might mispronounce the stream. Basidalia. I'm not sure if I'm saying it correctly or not, but anyway, welcome to the show here. I got you unmuted now. I can hear you.
Yeah, it's Basidalia. You got it right.
All right. Hey, thank you. Thank you. Hey, welcome.
Hello, everybody. Thank you.
Hello.
Good to see you here. What are you most interested in? Are you interested in wholesaling lease options or ugly house stuff, or kind of tell us a little bit about you?
My husband and I have a construction and remodeling business, but I work I'm a school counselor as well. And so I help them with the construction and remodeling. So we've only done like 2 or 3 flips that we do renting on. So I've been telling them that it's easier to wholesale than to do flips. And so trying to get in that market.
I can tell you that is so much true. There's so much truth to that, right? Wholesaling is way easier than fixing and flipping. Yeah.
But I mean, that's his passion. He loves that. He likes
Yeah.
seeing something, to the very end.
Yeah. Well, you could have a good balance of both. You could definitely have both. So
Those aren't my dogs.
that's all right. No
Okay.
worries. I love dogs. I've got a couple myself, and
Well, they're not mine. Mine are asleep right now. Yeah, they're on the floor.
oh, I don't know whose dogs they were then. Yeah, that's all right. But whoever's got the dogs, Janet, that was Janet. Wait a minute, I'm unmuting you, Janet. You got muted somehow. Where'd you go? Janet left. No, she didn't. There we go. I'm unmuting you, Janet.
I think she muted herself because her dogs were barking.
Yeah, you muted yourself.
Sorry.
Okay. Ah.
I love dogs too. I have two of them. They're right here by my feet.
Yeah, I've got a couple. I love them. I'll tell you, they know how to get into your heart, don't they?
Yes, they do.
Couple clowns. You got a couple clowns running around. That's what I call mine.
A bunch.
Well, they put on a clown show for me every night, and it's the same show every single night, but it never gets too. They put a little twist on it every now and then. Hey guys, I love you. Y'all want to do breakout rooms? Let's do that.
I can't stay for breakout rooms, man. But I just want to say I appreciate you. I appreciate everybody. Thank you for sharing. I got to peel off. I sent you a PM right in here, Justin, with my email address, so we can start doing the one-on-ones. Look forward to you sending me a link. Right?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Everybody enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks for having me.
Hey.
Take it easy. Take it easy, Claude. I have to peel off as well because I have my IT guy is chafing at the bit to speak to me. But I might have some good news after the call. So
hey, that's great.
I'll touch base. Yep.
Hey, love
so
you
have
guys.
A good time.
Appreciate it. Yeah, thank you so much, guys. And we'll catch up with you later. But let's go into breakout rooms now, and I'll switch you around after a few minutes, or I'll drop everybody into the same room if there's just a few, and we will have a good time for a little bit talking with each other. All right. Actually, let's just do this. Let's just go into a breakout room right now. All right. You've probably got your invitations already. And some of you are joining up into the breakout rooms. All right. Hey, guys, I wanted to take a minute before we end the live feed, the live stream. I want to say, hey, thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. And I want to let you know, these people are just like you. Okay? They're just like you. And we're all interested in the same thing, freedom for our families, right? It's not just about real estate wholesaling. There's the why behind the real estate wholesaling, and that's freedom for our families. And you're not alone if you have a hunger for that. There's people around. You just saw a good handful of us here, and we all want that. We all have that. I call it a gut feeling. We feel it down in there where we just got to. We got to do this. I want to let you know you can do it. Come join us. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Go visit us over at realestatewholesalersclub.com. That's realestatewholesalersclub.com. Free training to get you started. Those are training modules. This real deal Holyfield. This is the courses, videos with agreements and marketing resources and tools and all kinds of stuff. Okay, realestatewholesalersclub.com. Get started today for free, and then come plug in and join us over here on this Facebook group. Get this accountability going in your life and make a real change starting now. Starting today. It's that easy. The only thing holding you back is excuses. Because we've removed the excuse of, hey, it costs too much money. Why? Because it's free. Uh-oh. What's my excuse now? I don't know. You don't like my hair color. You don't like my scruffy beard. Maybe you don't like my shirt or my airplane back here. You don't like my attitude. Maybe you don't even like the TV at all today. Maybe you don't like anything. Maybe you're just a negative, depressed person. I don't know. We're all different. We all feel differently about different things. We all have different lives and different situations. But here's one thing I do know. Every one of us has an opportunity today to just do some little something to change the shit that we call life. We have an opportunity to do something today. Everyone you saw here today, they've made that decision and they're doing something. Is it time for you to do something? Time for you to get off the YouTube university kick and do something. I hope so. That's what we're here for. We want to help you in any way we can. realestatewholesaleclub.com. Wholesaling is better